Mallesh, thank you very much for your participation today. I appreciate it. So if we could start, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself personally and how you first got into agriculture.
I come from agriculture background. My family has been in agriculture in India. And I come from a region where sugarcane is grown in plenty. So there is a reservoir roughly around 40-50 kilometers from where we are. And it was built in 1940-50s time frame. So there is plenty of water. What I noticed is when I was growing up, I used to visit my grandfather's place and he growing sugarcane and converting into jaggery and selling it in the local market. He used to make good amount of money, more than what he was earning as a station master. And my father was also earning as much as my grandfather. So as a growing boy, what stuck in my mind is, if there is so much of money that can be made in agriculture, why should they work in a private sector? So that was the thought process. But as I grew up, I started noticing there was a lot of farmer distress, and I could see a lot of farmer suicides also from the place where I was. So the confusion into my mind was, normally people go through the stress if there is shortage of water, but from the place where I am, there were farmer suicide because of excess of water. The reason being, people started overusing the water and they got into the monocrop. They did not change, the quality of soil degraded, and they started losing interest, but their expenses did not go down. So that pushed them to the brink of disaster. So that's what made me understand and get more into agriculture, trying to see what can be given back to the society which is under stress.
Got it. So what sparked specifically the kind of first idea for your current business, right? Was there like a eureka moment or kind of a gradual realization that you needed to technically optimize that water use?
I didn't have any eureka moment. It is a kind of gradual thing. So because of my connection with agriculture, I always wanted to be in agriculture, but unfortunately we didn't have the lands. So I completed my education, got into IT sector, worked in India and US for 4 years, came back, and while I was in US, I used to visit farmland to understand how different is farming in India versus US. That was way back between 93 and 98. And I was surprised to see that they were already talking about sensors. It could be a simple thing like temperature sensor, humidity sensor. They were doing the mulching of the strawberry crops and all those things, which were non-heard in India. So when I came back to India, I started looking at how do I get into agriculture. But I had a very clear thought process. I did not want it to just experiment, but I wanted to build it further. So the objective that I set was, can I make 1 lakh Indian rupee per year per acre? So that was the target which we set. Then we started looking at what are the right crops. We narrowed down on 3-4 crops. Then I started looking at, is there a right market? And the last point was, what is the price fluctuation during the season? So we zeroed down on banana, where there was a huge demand in the area where I am, and the climatic condition was suitable for that, and there was a demand throughout the year. So that ensured me, if I get into this banana cultivation, probably it's going to secure my business objective. That's how I got into this. But during the process, what I realized is, there are a lot of challenges in banana cultivation also. It's a kind of water sensitive crops. So during summer, interestingly, we used to get good yield. And during rainy season, we used to get lower yield. So when I started understanding this further, I realized during summer we give controlled irrigation. Because there is shortage of water, we try to budget watering, and that was giving better yield. So that's how I started getting interest to understand what exactly we need to do to get better yield or improve the farm level productivity.
That's great. So what were the kind of first steps that you took then to start solving these problems that you had seen and to get your business in, right? Did you have co-founders? Did you start alone? Can you kind of take us through those very first steps?
I do have co-founders. So it's a team of 3 people, including my wife. And the way we started is basically having understood agriculture and being in that field for almost more than 20 years while I was working in IT also. I realized we need to bring in technology that's state of the art. But my focus has been, how do I give the technology at a lower cost? Because whatever said and done, whether it's a farmer in India or any part of the world, they're all looking at low-cost solution, because end of the day, they're not necessarily making money from only one crop, right? They may make money this year, but next year they are going to be losing money probably if the climatic condition does not support. Whereas if you have sold our devices to them or technology to them, they would have already paid it. So for me, it looked like a deterrent or entry barrier. So our focus has been, how do we bring in technology that is easy to install, and we can engage rural young population who is going to be adopting these things through agripreneur models, and then also farmers can see value for a few years. That's how we started putting together a framework.
That's great. And how long, if I can ask, did the technical development of your prototype take, right? How long did it take you to get that kind of minimum viable product out into the market?
Initially, it took almost 1.5 years for us to put together the framework, the concept, talk to experts, because I'm an industrial production engineer, not an electronics or communication engineer. So we had to talk to different people to understand what is their perspective, and what works in urban scenario may not work in the rural scenario. It could be simple thing like, can I get electricity to run my gateway, and how strong are the networks, because the whole perspective was we need to get the data in real time so that we can advise the farmer in real time. And if I'm not able to get the data, that's going to defeat the purpose. So it took around 1 year for us to put together the framework. Then it took another 2.5 years for us to put together the hardware, test it, take it to a certain level before we started commercializing.
That's great. So, and then can you talk to us about what were some of the kind of initial hurdles that you faced during those early stages and how you and your team overcame them?
The first hurdle we came across is farmers felt they know everything, right? Especially when in urban area, when I'm going with my educated background, when I'm trying to tell something to farmer about the irrigation aspect of that, the importance of irrigation, how they are overdoing the irrigation, their response was basically, what do you know about agriculture? And I clearly said, I don't know anything about agriculture. So what I can do is I can set up my system. Two systems. One is where we can collect the baseline data in terms of understanding what you are doing. Then you can actually compare the yield with the other system where we are giving advisories. That's how we started convincing the farmers. But the biggest hurdle was basically the price barrier. Even though we try to focus and bring the price down, farmers continue to push us saying that if you want us to take more, you need to bring down the price. So I thought that is true only in India, but yesterday I could realize it is true in every part of the world.
For sure. So you kind of talked to us a little bit about how you chose your location. Obviously you're from India, you wanted to go back there, you want to get back in the Indian agricultural market. How would you say that your choice of that location has impacted your business? Has that changed your offerings? Has it changed your operational model? How has that impacted the actual life of your business being in that specific location?
When we started, we were looking at more of horticulture crops because we felt high value crops are going to give high returns. But contrary to that, another organization came and approached us asking if we are willing to work in paddy. Because typically when you talk about irrigation, people think it has to be either drip irrigation or sprinkler irrigation or pivot irrigation kind of thing. Nobody was thinking a flood irrigation can also be controlled, where you can bring in economies of the benefits of water optimization. So then we started looking at if you have to work on paddy, what's the right location, right? So that was Punjab, because Punjab has a bigger problem in terms of overuse of water and depleting groundwater table. So we selected a region where there is enough push from the government to reduce the water consumption, and farmers are also feeling the heat of overusing the water, and wherein occasionally they were not having enough water to use it. So we felt that was the right place for us to get started. Then we started expanding into the adjacent states, that is Uttar Pradesh and Haryana, Madhya Pradesh. So then we also realized basically we can work on sugarcane also, because that was my original thought that I had heard from my grandfather. So, but Punjab is not the right place for sugarcane. So then we have to move to southern part of India, which is called Tamil Nadu, where there are factories that are having a business existence problem. So that's how we started moving into Tamil Nadu. Now we are looking at Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh for our sugarcane projects.
That's great. And have you considered other geographies outside of India to enter into with your business? Or is there any consideration of expanding?
That's the purpose of this entire visit. We are definitely actively pursuing, because I know paddy and sugarcane are the two crops that are grown most of the countries, and wherever they are growing, they are consuming a lot of water, which is affecting each one of us because of the global warming and other initiatives, other issues. So the whole perspective is I'm looking out for countries and partnerships and collaborations where we can take this technology in both asset-light model and make it very effective.
That's great. So where you are now, looking back on the past several years, how would you say your business has evolved? And what do you think were some of those kind of pivotal moments or crises that drove that evolution?
See, I'm an engineer by heart, right? So when any problem is given, we try to look through the lens of engineering. And when I started offering our technology to paddy growing farmers, it was a complete IoT solution. And the cost was something like around $100. So it was going okay, it was growing at the speed of 2x, 3x kind of thing. But the initial number was very small. If you are looking at 50 and see 150 next year, 250 third year, that looks like a good growth percentage wise, but not number wise. So when we started talking to different big enterprises, they came back to me saying that your technology is super good and it's very reliable, it gives actual real-time data, accurate data, but the price is very high. So then I thought of asking them, what is the right price that you are looking at? It was a shocker for me because they came back asking either $2 or $3. So there is no way I could have reduced it from $100 to $3, even if you take it as $3. Then I started understanding, why is it $100, right? So what are the different cost elements of that me pushing it to $100 price point? So there were 2-3 critical things. One is the resources that we are engaging, and second one is the IoT component. And the purpose of engaging resources and IoT was to get the real-time data and make it accurate. Then I went back to the organizations asking, do you have resources? And the answer was yes. Already they are having people who are in the field, who are trying to collect data, connect with the farmers. Second one, do you need real-time data? Their question is how accurate it can be. Because our technology is so robust, we can get accurate data, but if you take out the online connectivity, it can drop down. Then we said, can we share one sensor across multiple farmlands? So happy to say that now we are able to give at a rate of almost $2.5. The same technology, same reliable technology. The only difference is we are not deploying our people, and rather than giving one sensor for every farmer, similar to what yesterday we saw about the sharing of the resources, we already deployed with IoT sensors.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, this is quite an achievement. Final question, if we can talk about the future, right? Where do you see cultYvate in the next 1, 5, 10 years? What are your plans going forward?
We are looking at covering at least 1 million hectares over a period of next 5 years by 2030. So that's where these partnerships, collaboration, exploring new regions, while continuing on paddy and sugarcane. That's our whole objective.
That's fantastic. Mallesh, thank you so much. We appreciate it.